damn it. All the cool stuff I want to talk about either doesn't come out until later in the month or a couple of months later down the year. So now I'm stuck with this dumb prequel series about a talking teddy bear from the creator of Family Guy. Wonderful.
Oh, by the way, I was being sarcastic.
So let me just ask you guys a quick question. Was anyone really begging for a prequel to Ted? You know, that 2012 movie that focused on a man named John, his girlfriend Lori, and his talking teddy bear, Ted?
You know what I like to do to her? Something I call a dirty fuzzy.
Yeah, that one. Oh, and it spawned a forgettable cash-in sequel that came out in 2015. John gets covered in semen. So the fine folks at Peacock realized that they don't have anything on their streaming service. So they thought, hey, why don't we reach out to Seth MacFarlane so we can make a Ted show? Even though the last Ted movie we got was 8 years ago. So I don't think anybody really remembers who Ted is anymore. Anyway, I guess I should talk about my experience with the Ted duology, I guess. I watched the first Ted movie when I was 10 years old, so I have a little bit of nostalgia for this one, and even I can agree it's not that great of a movie, especially in today's day and age. Most of the jokes boil down to, oh my god, this teddy bear is doing inappropriate stuff, along with shock humor and dated humor. You get the point. Not to mention, I don't really care for the buddy/romance thing that the story focuses on, but for what it is, I'd say it's good, it's a decent movie, it's something I can have on as background noise. As for the second film, you might be shocked, but I don't hate it.
The fuck?
It's nothing masterful, but I think it's a decent continuation to Ted, even though it's basically recycling the same stuff they did in the last film, even down to the climax.
You're mine, Ted!
Screw you, pal. I belong to John Bennett.
But I can give you love, and rocking horses, and dancing.
I think we're very far apart on this. I'm at Comic-Con, but John, it's Donnie. He's here. He's after me. You gotta get over here.
What the fuck? Did you just say Donnie?
What's the matter?
Oh my god, deja vu.
So yeah, that's my overall experience with Ted. So needless to say, I didn't have any high expectations for a prequel show, which takes place in 1993. And one obvious thing I noticed is that most of the actors who played these characters from the films, with the exception of MacFarlane, did not come back for this show. But you know what? I don't care. I don't have a strong attachment to the series at all, so this doesn't bother me that much. Anyway, let's jump into this nonsense. Here we are, the first episode of this Seth MacFarlane TV show, and it's exactly what I expected. After causing some stupid mischief at home... Don't ask. The Bennett family decides to send Ted to school with Johnny. Ted tries to get himself expelled, and then wacky antics ensue.
You ever get self-conscious being the only white guy at your school?
I don't know, we live in a Boston suburb. Oh, last year we had an Indian kid.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, but they got him.
What does that mean?
I liked him, too.
Wait, what do you mean they got him?
He used to share his Dunkaroos. Good guy.
What the fuck?
If there's one thing I enjoyed when watching this episode after watching the first movie, it was pointing out the numerous little references. Whether it's Ted having girls over, seeing Johnny and Ted smoke weed when watching Flash Gordon, or watching the duo getting into one of their classic little arguments. I also like this little interaction.
Yeah, pretty much.
We look stupid.
Nah, we're fine.
We look like suicide bombers having second thoughts.
Shut the fuck up. You can't joke about bombs here.
You know what this reminds me of?
I look stupid.
No, you don't. You look dapper.
I don't. I look like Snuggles' accountant.
Come on, it's not that bad.
John, I look like something you give your kid when you tell him grandma died.
As an episode on its own, I think it does a decent job of reintroducing Ted and Johnny. And they introduce some new characters like John's family and a bully character. So far, out of the bunch, I like Blair the most because she has things going on with her. And there were some nice emotional beats, like Blair not wanting John to go down a dark path because she's experienced that firsthand with her family.
You're not like the rest of the family. You've got a shot. I think of my dad, drunk on his ratty couch watching Flash Gordon or some shit, but that's not gonna be you. you're gonna do something with your life.
Yeah, we all know that's not true. Another thing I liked was the acting. I think John's actor does a good job of replicating Mark Wahlberg's way of speaking in those movies.
Oh, I think he'd be flattered, and plus your baby would be a fucking superhero.
You get caught with drugs in school, you're gone. It's like zero tolerance here.
Also, I noticed that Steve's voice actor from American Dad is in this show, and he does a decent job. Solid acting from everyone all around, including Seth MacFarlane, who plays Ted, which is something considering he hasn't played the character in 8 years. The comedy was mostly hit and miss, but this doesn't bother me considering the movies themselves had very hit and miss comedy. It's basically the same as the movies. It does a good job of replicating the cinematography from the films, it has good music, the CGI on Ted looks consistent with how it looks in the films, and it's decent. If there's one big criticism I have with this episode, and the series as a whole, is why the fuck are all these episodes 30 minutes or longer?
Why?
I understand shows like Invincible, Arcane, Stranger Things, or The Boys having a long runtime, but there is no fucking reason for each episode to be 30 to 50 minutes. I can see this being 20 minutes tops, but I guess that's what separates this from Seth's previous works, so I guess he's breaking new ground. But then again, he did make that show The Orville. Maybe it had a longer running time. I don't know. I've never watched the show, so I don't know. It's a decent first episode. Now let's get on to the next one. But before we do, does anyone get any, I don't know, LGBTQ representation vibes from Blair? Just me? Okay. Ted and Johnny start acting like their high school bully's father over the phone. Yeah, I'll get into that later. While that's going on, Maddie needs to get a colonoscopy, and he needs Blair's help.
Talk louder, your feet are blocking my ears.
Hard left, hard left, hard left! For fuck's sake! Just go straight, just go straight.
Well, fucking tell me when I'm gonna bump into something. Fuck today! Come on, you gotta warn me.
Okay, it's good, we're good for a minute.
My head hurts.
Oh, this is gonna be a problem.
This episode is pretty mediocre compared to the last one. I thought it was nice that John and Ted tried taking care of the bully as if he was their own, especially when it was revealed by Susan that his father abandoned him. And the side plot was meh. It honestly wouldn't be out of place in a Family Guy episode. It turns out the reason why Maddie was so uptight was because he didn't want his secret of jerking off a dog during the war to get out there.
Whatever it is, I'm sure we'll understand.
No, you won't. This was war.
For Christ's sake, Maddie, we're your family. Just fucking tell us.
I jacked off a dog!
What the fuck?
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. You know what? Let me turn on the echo feature on this mic. What the fuck? But I will admit, despite how fucking stupid it sounds at first, it does have a nice moment at the end.
You soldiers gave so much.
I think you did the right thing. Very heroic.
Great job, Dad.
You did it there, so we didn't have to do it here.
There are a couple of decent jokes in here, and a pretty nice main plot, but a little weaker than the first. Johnny and Ted try to get themselves a porno after Blair fucked them over, and after one of the tapes gets stuck in the VHS player, they need to find a way to replace it. And while they're doing that, Maddie and Susan go out to dinner.
Okay, 2 fake IDs. That'll be $50.
We got that same VCR at home.
I don't give a shit.
I think the jokes in this one are a little bit better than in the first 2 episodes. There's a moment where Ted gets called into a basketball game when they're at the school, and for a second I thought this was going to kill a couple of minutes of screen time, but instead, this happens.
Ain't so fucking hard. Let's get the hell out of here.
That was funny, and seeing Susan's reaction to the porno was pretty priceless too. Basically everything in John and Ted's plot was funny, but the side plot, I didn't get any laughs out of it, especially when Susan tries to seduce Maddie.
What are you doing?
But at the same time, it's understandable why she's doing this. And although I didn't mention it in the first episode, I like it when Susan and Blair talk. I don't know, I just like how they chat with each other.
All right, it's done.
Not quite. We still gotta get that tape out.
Hey, I remember this scene.
All right. Now let's get rid of this.
What do you mean? We'll just delete the files.
No. That shit can always be recovered. We gotta smash your laptop with a hammer.
All right, there, you happy?
It's a fine episode, although the ending was pretty funny.
I love that plan, because you know what? We got a porno to return.
And I'll tell you one thing. I would never watch porn again.
Meanwhile...
What the fuck? Holy shit, dude, what's the matter? What happened? What's going on?
There's so much porn!
Oh, check it out, there's one.
Hey, nice costume, fuckface!
What the hell?
Hey, what the fuck are you supposed to be?
I'm the Hulk.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Yes, I am.
Didn't they do this in the second movie?
Oh, there's one.
Hey, how's your workout? Fuck you! Jesus, what the hell is your problem? That's everybody else's fault. Barry Decker.
Huh. They did. Blair forces Ted to take her to a college party, and what do you know, they both get drunk and then wacky antics ensue. While that's going on, Johnny is forced to hang out with a 38-year-old man who lives with his mother. The main plot has some chuckle-worthy moments, but then they incorporate this bullshit with Blair hanging out with her English professor.
Why?
The episode makes you think that he has an attraction towards Blair, but in reality, he likes Ted.
Hello, Ted.
The fuck?
I'm pretty sure this plot has been done by either Family Guy or American Dad, if I remember correctly. The other plot is just cringe humor with this 38-year-old man acting like a fucking weirdo. I did like seeing Blair and Ted interact though. A below average episode, nothing much to say about this one. But if there's one thing I will say, damn, Converse sneakers were popular back in the day, weren't they?
I shouldn't have embarrassed him, okay? I think it's cute that you're scared of the spiders.
I'm not scared of spiders!
Man, this is a Haley Joel Osment incident right here.
Nope, they're all bad. But I swab them all the same because it's my job, which is actually really, really important, unlike your job, which could be done by a Roomba.
Blair recommends that Maddie and Susan should take marriage counseling in order to fix their marriage. When this fails, Ted, Blair, and Johnny decide to have a therapy session with the two. And after discovering that Susan wanted to become a teacher, Ted and Johnny decide to let her be a teacher at their school.
Let's start with the basics. Would you classify your marriage as sexually satisfying?
That's none of your goddamn business.
Look, why don't we just stick
Every 6 months.
Every 6 months.
What the fuck?
I thought this was a good episode. Not to mention, it's a nice gesture that Johnny and Ted let Susan be a teacher at their school. Normally, other characters in TV shows would be embarrassed at the prospect of having their parents be at school, but they were pretty cool about it. And I thought that scene with Susan talking to that bitch-ass cheerleader was pretty nice too. And it also shows that Susan is okay with the life she has now. Making other people happy makes her happy. And I really like that. The only issue I have with this episode is that it's not all that funny, but it's fine.
Keep my truck's name out your mouth.
Oh, honey, but you never play with it.
Well, I'm gonna start playing with him.
Oh, you're gonna start playing with it now at fucking 50?
Yes. I'm gonna start playing with him all the time.
All I hear is Steve when he talks. Unlike previous episodes, this one has a total of 3 plots. The first plot focuses on Maddie having a toy truck that comes to life through a wish he made. By the way, he is incredibly racist.
Christ, look at this. Look at this. They're giving free visas to tech workers.
Oh, fucking A. They're coming.
Who?
Immigrants.
Oh, for fuck's sake. Really?
The second plot focuses on Blair having her friend, who appeared in the first episode of the season, by the way, hanging out at the Bennett's house for Christmas. By the way, they're a couple.
Sarah and I are a couple.
I fucking called that shit from a mile away. And I'm not the only one that thinks so. The show makes fun of this too.
Called it, Johnny.
Motherfucker.
And the last plot is about Ted trying to prove that he's Jesus Christ. I sadly didn't care for this one that much. I mean, it does have nice moments like Maddie coming to terms with the fact that Blair is a lesbian, and the ending as a whole is pretty heartwarming, and it really goes to show that this family loves each other. And here's one thing I will give this episode credit for. It treats a character of the LGBTQ with respect, and most importantly, they don't treat them like a joke. So, congratulations! This reaches new highs for a Seth MacFarlane show. But in terms of enjoyability, it didn't really do it for me. It's just slap dab in the middle. Honestly, it would have been lower on the list if it wasn't for the heartfelt moments with Maddie, Blair, and Susan.
My parents never talked to me about sex. I figured it all out on my own, and I'm doing just fine.
We'll talk to John.
That's funny. John is the last virgin in his school, so he decides to fix that by having sex with anyone. Then, what do you know, a girl by the name of Bethany comes along, and they immediately have plans to go to prom together. It's a decent season finale. I don't really have much to say about this one. I thought the prom scene was okay, the Aladdin thing was kind of cute, even though it was fucking stupid. I mean, why would you guys ride on top of the car? That doesn't make any fuck. And seeing Johnny and Ted buy condoms was pretty funny.
I've been waiting for this day. Frankly, I thought it would come a little sooner, but congratulations.
I need an adult! I need an adult!
Excuse me, sir. What is a handsome man like you doing waiting in line?
I need an adult! I need an adult!
But at the end of the episode, Johnny doesn't get laid, so it doesn't really matter. That's it. I'm done.
Looks like it might rain.
Jesus fucking
Christ.
Shit, why does it have to do that?
Oh my god, it's so fucking scary.
I hate the thunder.
Fuck you, Thunder!
Yeah, you can suck my dick. Fuck you, thunder. You can suck my dick. You can't get me thunder because you're just God's farts.
Okay, that's another nice callback. So, I reviewed every single episode of Ted. And how is it? It could have been worse. Much, much, much worse. Overall, I say it's a pretty good, respectful prequel to the movies. It reminds me of classic Family Guy, but unlike classic Family Guy where I was constantly laughing my ass off, this one is very hit or miss, which doesn't bother me so much because the movies themselves were very hit or miss. But I will appreciate that it does a good job of staying true to what the movies did, as I said before. Whether it's the cinematography, the jokes, the music, the acting, the CGI on Ted, it's something I can appreciate. Especially since we're living in a day and age where people don't respect the source material of their projects. So to see that Seth and the rest of the writers have respect for the Ted movies, it's something I have to pat them on the back for. But to be quite frank, this show is nothing special to me personally. They're just doing the same shit they did 11 years ago. A talking teddy bear is doing and saying fucked up stuff. But compared to the movies, I'll say it's a little more toned down, since it wants to focus on the younger years of Ted and John. If you like the first two Ted movies, I guarantee you'll get a kick out of the show. But if you're like Trey Parker and Matt Stone that hate Seth MacFarlane's guts to the point where you'll make fun of him and his projects, then you should steer clear. As for me, I think it's a decent series. It gave me the same feeling I had for the films. It's a decent time killer and it didn't piss me off, so that's a plus. Anyway, those are my thoughts. What do you guys think of the Ted duology or even the series? Tell me in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later.
When you hear the sound of thunder, don't you get too scared. Just grab your thunder bunny and say these magic words. Oh, fuck you, thunder! You can suck my dick.